In a smaller bowl, crumble 40 grams of fresh yeast or 8 to 10 grams of dry yeast. Add 1 tablespoon of sugar and 200 milliliters of warm water. Mix everything and let it sit for about 10 minutes to activate the yeast. In a mixing bowl, pour 500 to 600 grams of flour. Add 1.5 teaspoons of salt and mix everything. Add 400 milliliters of warm water and 70 milliliters of oil. Mix lightly. Then add the activated yeast. Continue mixing everything together. Gradually add more flour and continue mixing. Once the dough becomes firmer, add a bit more flour and knead the dough. We use 1 kilogram of flour for kneading. When there's no more flour at the bottom, pour 30 milliliters of oil over the dough. Turn the dough over. Knead it a bit more. Let it rest for 1 hour in a warm place to rise. Once the dough has rested, knead it on the table with a bit of flour. Then tear or cut off one end of the dough. Shape it into a ball. Place it in front of you. Then divide the larger part into 10 pieces. Shape each piece into a small ball. Take the first ball. Stretch it slightly by hand, then with a rolling pin. Once stretched, set it aside. Repeat the process with 4 more balls. So stretch 5 balls in total. Once all 5 are stretched, layer them one on top of the other. Brush melted margarine between each layer. Place the 5th layer on top, but do not brush it. Sprinkle some flour on the table. Transfer the layered dough onto the table. Now repeat the same process with the remaining 5 balls. Once both stacks are ready, cut them into pieces. Cut into 8 pieces. Take one triangle at a time and arrange it in the baking pan. Lean one triangle against another. Once arranged, adjust them slightly to make them look neat. Now take the piece of dough we set aside at the beginning. Shape it into a small ball. Place it in the center. Let it rise for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, brush the bread with a coating. Here we mix 2 tablespoons of vegan mayonnaise and 2 tablespoons of melted margarine. Finally, sprinkle the bread with seeds. Sesame, flax, sea salt, caraway, whatever you like. Once the seeds are sprinkled, preheat the oven to 200 degrees Celsius. Place the bread in the oven to bake. The bread is baked. We baked it for 40 to 45 minutes. Finally, drizzle it with melted margarine.